And how's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully you've had a good weekend, and hopefully it's going to be a good week for you. Hopefully it's going to be a good week for you. Was hoping to get on yesterday and the day before, but stuff happens. I was going to use a different S word, but I'm trying to be family friendly here, folks. Yeah, work was a big problem for me this weekend, and I got to pay the bills, and and that job pays me a hell of a lot more than streaming does. So I'm gonna have to stick with it and prioritize it for the time being, anyway. But I appreciate you guys being patient. It was a really big customer that we had to take care of last night, and because of that, it kind of had to take priority. As much as I would love personally to spend all my time on here with you, I had to be on a phone call with people I don't care for, and I hope they don't follow my stream. But welcome, Blue Mermaid J, Severia, Angry Sock Monkey, Isaac. Isaac, thank you for the host. So happy to see you guys here. We're gonna head back into Planet Coaster tonight. I want to get out of the West, and I want to move on from the entryway. Maybe. What I did do in my off time is I went on the Steam Workshop, and I bought a whole bunch of parts for the park, like construction materials and the like. So new pillars, new walls, new tiles, things like that are, smaller pieces that I might be able to use to style the buildings a little bit more. Because I think anybody that was here for the last stream, I was a little frustrated not having some of the parts that I wanted to have. This is not going to solve that problem, but it'll help to address it. Hopefully anyway. But I hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I missed the hell out of you. I really, really wish I could have streamed. It is what it is, and I'll do what I can to make up for it. I do have Steam codes that I want to give away on this stream. The problem is I didn't write them down, and I don't want to scratch them off in the middle of the stream, and write them into Notepad and copy and paste them and send them to my mod. So that way Severia could actually send them to you guys. So what I could do is what I could do is I could pick a couple winners, and then I can message them to you afterwards, after the stream, if that's okay with you guys. Normally I like delivering them immediately, making sure you guys get them. But again, I don't want to sit here and say, okay, hold on, stream. I know I'm starting late. Hold on. I'm gonna scratch off these tickets real quick, and then I'm gonna turn all the lights on in my room and get the magnifying glass out because I'm old and I can't see, and then I gotta, if that's okay with you guys. So I'm still gonna give away a couple. It'll be a little bit later on in the stream, but and subs get bonuses, subs get advantage. That's kind of the way that they work. So anybody that subbed will have an advantage. And you have to be a follower in order to be able to win. As much as I would like to open it up to anybody, you guys are the ones that I'm inconveniencing with my really crappy schedule. So the least I can do, is try and make it to where it's leaning a little bit more towards you guys, if that's okay. Yeah, like you're gonna complain, like you're really gonna complain that I'm slanting the contest to your favor. I highly doubt that, but hey, you never know. 2019 and all that. People have opinions everywhere. So let me just get my bot set up so that way when I do need to do the giveaway, I will be able to. Okay, there we go. You still get to be lazy. Yeah, Severia, I'll handle it. Don't worry. I know how busy you are with your 32 jobs. I wouldn't know anything about what that's like. So on that note, let's get the game started, shall we? And any second now. Hello, game. Normally I would have the game running in the background ahead of time, but it's got pretty annoying menu music. And I don't want that playing in the background. Hello, game. I see you trying to run. Any second. There it goes. Well-planned stream, chat. I have a well-planned stream. What I am going to do is I'm going to play a little bit of music. I'm going to play a little bit of the pretzel music. What the hell is this? Actually, this is... What is this music? Oh, Family Crap. That's even worse. Family Crap is even worse. I'm digging this song. What the hell is this? Party with Lars. I think music nowadays needs more horns. More horns and more stringed instruments. That's me. Well, that was an abrupt ending, wasn't it? Why is this? Am I on the MC Lars channel? Let me just... Yes, it looks like there is literally 3 songs on this playlist. Bear with me 1 second, chat, because I don't want to hear the same thing over and over again. Let's do ambient, because I think that'll work best. There we go. Got some ambient music going on. And this is where we left off. Changed the sign last time. I think it looks much better. Much better. And we have, I wanted to do a little archway with glass, and then I ran into a problem. There was no glass archways in the game. So, on that note, we ended up with something kind of a sci-fi feel, which tied in with what the front of the building had. If you notice, I kind of went with like a kind of a sci-fi. There was no real rhyme or reason to it. I was just like, hey, this part looks cool. Let me use this part here. And then so tying it in here and making the lights happen. And I'll go back to the evening hours. You can see I made the lights. So it kind of lights the entryway. And if you weren't here for the last stream, I'm just going to show you. These don't actually cast that light. There's lights underneath the ground casting up to simulate those lights shining down. Because with those off, it looked terrible. Our guests are thirsty. Buy a damn drink. Let me guess, my vendors quit. Vendors. Nope. Sherry Carrier is working for Gulpy Soda. Humberto Henry is exhausted. I'm gonna have to get them more energy drinks. All right, not worried about them. But what I did do, and it may take me a second or two to find it, is I went to the workshop and I downloaded a Lotto crap. So little things, all the things in blue that you see here are workshop items. So in honor of Strix, we have books that we can place everywhere. Oops. You know, so if I want to make a library, I can make a library. So there's like a haunted bust cabinet, and that's one of those that when it's kind of like the Haunted Mansion. When you go by it, it looks like it's following you, but that's just because it's set, like inset. So it's kind of cool. Little things like an antique golden vase, neon tubes. You know, so if I wanted to do some stylish work with some neon tubes, I can do that. There's a big ass ruler. You know, because you never can tell when you want to see how big something is. Really helpful. And this should be line to surface. This isn't, oh, there you go. You can kind of see it there. If I go this way. Trying to get it to where you can actually see what this looks like. So this is like a platform door. It's a window for it, and another window. It's designed to go onto a grid. We got an adventure crate that we can have hanging and dangling from things. We've got another adventure crate that actually just looks, looks like there's something in it, something alive. So I went on and I downloaded a bunch of crap. A whole bunch. And you'll see anything with the blue in the background is new. So, like an electrical box. If I wanted to put an electrical box on the catwalk. It's got like wiring and stuff, and I can put it at different angles. I can put a chicken. Bus stop. So little things like that that's going to help me hopefully when I'm moving on and I'm doing other aspects of the park. I'm just trying to see where the actual concrete road blockades. There's a concrete floor, so if I wanted to do kind of a shiny concrete, you could see the shine comes up from that. There was a set of primitives. That's a spooky tree. He's actually animated. He's cool looking. I had to download him. Crystal Skull. What the? Really? Someone covered this. I'll take it. It better be good though. Got a swimming duck. Double doors of decay. So if we're doing a coaster and we wanted to go, or a dark ride, and we wanted to go in, we could have these animated doors swinging open and they look all beat to crap. The rope bridge. The fast food tray. Really cool gate. So there's a bunch of cool stuff that I picked up. Like I said, I'm just taking a second to take a look through here. I want to see if I can find the primitives. Here's the glass tunnel. Remember how I didn't have a tunnel? This is the first start to see, if they make them, and it looks like they do. I'm going to keep looking around on the workshop and see if I can eventually find one that's going to, this music's a little bit on the loud side. See if I can find one that's actually going to be the archway. Then I can still continue this on, because I think that would be really cool still to have a glass overlay. Oh, and of course I had to get this. It's not super well done from a model perspective. You could tell they got the level of detail wrong on it. Because there's different levels of detail. That's supposed to be what it looks like when you're really far away from it. And when you zoom in, it's supposed to fix it. But I had to at least try it. Because of the hat. So there's some things on the workshop that, need a little work, need a little TLC. I got some rocks, and the cool things about these rocks is it addresses the problem that I was complaining about last time. So if I wanted to make them different colors, so if I wanted to do like an alien theme or something like that, like an alien planet, I can make them different colors. So that's kind of cool. I got a forklift. Hey, Michelle, welcome to the stream. There is medieval serving bowls, metal fence, an old butler animatronic, because, just reminded me of me. If I do decide to do some type of a haunted mansion thing, again, the model makers, some of them are a little bit lacking. And it could just be that they didn't save them properly. Because again, it looks like the model might actually be intact, but the level of detail for some reason isn't loading. It could be on me too, but literally it's just clicking a button. I can do a parking lot now, or a street in a parking lot. It could be on me, but it's clicking subscribe, so I'm thinking it's not on me on why they didn't import properly. But it gives me something that I can work with. And if I took that butler and I put him in a dark area and I lit them right, I think I could probably get away with it. This is the rock pack. So it's just a brown medium rock. Why is the specular highlighting on these rocks so high? It looks like slime. I'm gonna have to teach myself Blender, chat, because I want to make my own. I'm gonna make my own stuff. This rock's good. This rock, it's not great, but it's got a little too much sheen to be normally a rock. But the other one, that's slime. And then there's little other things like sci-fi wall pieces and stuff that I can put in. Secret doorway behind a bookshelf. You know, so if I wanted to do what I want to do in the center of it is I want to try and do a Victorian house, like a Victorian mansion, kind of as the centerpiece, not a castle, because everyone does castles. And not haunted mansion per se, even though I'm probably going to end up going with a haunted theme just because, you know, everyone does that for Victorian. That's kind of the thought process, what I want to do in the middle. So to have that library kind of bookshelf and having those old books and stuff, you know, and see the other reason I got the spiral staircases. So that way, if I do decide to do that, I can try and build that house out. I don't think I can color this. If I could color that a wood, now see, they don't let me color the good part. It'd be awesome if I could make that look wood. But I'm gonna look around and I'm gonna keep trying. Things are good with me, Michelle. I hope things are going really well with you. Spooky scarecrow hats. These are all the animatronics. Just bear with me, chat. I'm trying to find, and I think it's probably under building. Oh, and I had to get this. Chad, don't be mad at me. I had to get this for a certain someone. I had to get this for a certain someone. I'm not going to name names. I'm not naming names in any way, shape, or form, but I definitely had to get this animatronic for a reason. And it comes with 2 different animations, both of which look like the arms are malformed and not working properly. But I had to get it anyway. Shh, don't tell. Got cobwebs, you know, spider webs. These are obviously not necessarily the ideal. I would prefer them to be semi-transparent, but yeah, no. There's the wood fence, and then there was like a wraith animatronic. This one just looked like it might be cool. And I think if you have the right motion going on with the ride for that, that might actually be pretty cool. So those are the things that I got. Just some of the, you know, here's some wood floors. So if I wanted to actually replace floors, some of the things that I got off the workshop. And then in addition to that, I also got the building materials. And this is where the important thing is going to come in. This is what I really focused on, because this game, as you saw before, gives you a lot of options to build with, but they were still somewhat limited. So what I did is I got some things like this bolted steel plate that I can use, pavement slabs, recolorable stone. So if I wanted to do the floor in a different color, it gives me the flexibility to actually change the color of the floor panels. Different pillars. You know, some of the floor tiles are really cool. It's like a steampunk metal. I won't use that for my house, but there's a wooden tile. There's another wood. So the main thinking that going into this is that I wanted to change up. I didn't want to add that to the building. I did not want to add that to the building. Get out of there. I wanted to give myself more flexibility in the building tools that were provided to me because the game was really limited. So little things like this. This is a blackout grid. So when I do make a dark ride, there are going to be occasions where I don't want any kind of reflectivity, any kind of shadow for the walls. It's like the blackout paint that they use on there. Well, I'm glad to hear things are better, Michelle. So that's what that's for, and that's going to be very useful when I get down to the point. And I got the roof and the floor for it as well. So what that's going to help is when I make the dark rides and I want to have that black ceiling to make it look like it's kind of going off at night and those types of things, I can do that. Little things like cage walls, so I can lock everybody into the park so they can't leave. You need to have that. You need to have that, chat, because that is how you keep your fan base, is you lock them in and you don't let them out. So I got other cobblestone. So the cool thing about this is if I really wanted to, and I took the time, which I might do, I could hypothetically replace the the floor with the cobblestone. So, and again, I wouldn't do that by attaching it to the building. I'd probably put it, that's on, this was actually on a grid. I would try and find one that doesn't have a grid. Or was the one that we had before, like the concrete? That's pavement. Where was that really cool entryway one? This is like a really cool entryway one. And I could just sit here and I could just lower it. And if I get the height just right, see if I can get that. I guess it's automatically going to add it to the building. Which is fine. You know, so had I thought about it ahead of time and had I planned for it, okay, all right, thank you, Angry Stock Monkey. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate that. So had I put the thought into it when I was building it, I could have built based off of this baseline and had a really cool entry path. Now, after the fact, it's going to be a little tough for me to do because obviously everything is leveled for the actual path. So what I'll end up doing is when we go into other areas, I'll use other types of tiles, which is why I wanted to download them. Let me just drop all the way down to the bottom here, see if there's anything else. Oh, here it is. So I did get some rough glass panels, but I don't think they're large enough to do what I want to do up here. They're really tiny. So these tubes I'll be able to use for things, you know, because it might look cool if I went up and put them on here. And oops, get rid of that. You know, if I wanted to, I could play around and kind of make the, you know, make the signs look a little bit more stylized with some, you know, with some glass domes. But that's kind of the reasoning, is I wanted to have these individual pieces. Where the hell, why did I lose my space? I thought there was a bigger glass dome that I had found. I guess I was mistaken. But in any regard, I think I'm going to move on to either fantasy or pirate. Because over here we had the country western. I think the country western turned out pretty well. But I want to do something over here. Multiple shops are very busy. Chief Beef is busy. Oh, good. You can wait in line. What do you think, chat? What should I put over here? Should I go fantasy or should I go pirate? Because either one would work. I kind of have a forest thing going here, and I can transition from this desert kind of into the forest gradually. Let's go into terrain. Let's see if I can start with my paint tools. See if I can get some of this to look like we're getting a little bit out of the desert once we start getting to this side of the park. And then let me flatten the foundation, smooth that out over here. You thinking fantasy, Michelle? I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking go fantasy here. And then maybe what I could do, and let's just get a top-down view here of the park. So let's see what we got. Let me go with my terrain tools. Let me flatten this to the foundation and get rid of it. Let's just kind of make it look a little bit. So here's our park so far. This is obviously the Western world. So we could do, let's kind of make, and I'm going to paint the floor, I'm going to paint the ground kind of a goofy color right now, just so that way I can kind of demarc where I want it to be. So I think what I can do is I can use this mountain, put more trees on it and the like, and use this mountain in the Fantasyland area too. So I'm going to say Fantasyland, like the fantasy area. Could probably do roughly that size. So we have the path here. We can have a path go this way. And another one, I don't know if we want to circle around this area. I want to have a center point. Obviously, we need a castle. My guess is I'm going to put the castle on this mountain. Because this mountain's useless. It's the end of the park. As you can see, we can't do anything on this side. I can't even raise the terrain. I can't do anything with that. It's literally just a cliff face. But if I'm down here as a person, I could put a castle up on that mountain. Oh, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. So I'm thinking, holy crap. Michelle gifting a tier 1 sub to Patty Quinn. Patty Quinn, welcome back to the Hatters. I think you've been here before. Yes, you have 8 months. Welcome back. Thank you so much, Michelle, for that gifted tier 1 sub. Can we get some ad tips in chat for Michelle? And welcome to Patty Quinn. So my thinking is we go fantasy over in this area. And again, I'm just kind of trying to, oops, don't want to do that. Just kind of trying to lay this out. And again, we have a desert environment gradually moving over to a grassy one. You know, because we want to have a kind of a fantasy thing going. What I'll do here, let's see if we can. Again, what I like doing is making kind of a winding path. Between the areas. So it's like you can go through a magical forest maybe. Because I don't want them to see the fantasy land from here. And that's where building the castle over here may be problematic. I might have to extend this mountain out over like this temporarily. Or not temporarily, but extend it this way just to kind of obscure. Because again, I want to look at it from the view of the people in the park. So if you're down in this angle, I don't want them to see a castle sticking up over here. They're in the west. They shouldn't be seeing a medieval castle in the west. But we'll see as we go along. And what I could do here is let's get our paths. And that shouldn't be that wide there. Let's go 8 meters. Yeah, because this is going to be kind of a main thoroughfare between the areas. Oh, hello. Okay, so that gives us the basic path. And again, if you're down here as a, you know, as a person, and I'll throw some bushes underneath here and maybe raise the terrain a little bit. Let's do that. Let's make the terrain look a little bit more interesting because nobody likes flat ground. Say that as a Floridian. Trust me, nobody likes flat ground. Okay. This intensity is a little bit high. Let's pull it back a little bit more. Okay, so we get a little bit. Let's go ahead and pull this up. Let's get a little bit of mystery going around here. That's where I think. And then we'll get some bushes in here. Scenery. Let's get some basic forest bushes. Hold on, let me switch to my other control scheme. So it's more first-person shooter. There we go. And let's get rid of align to surface. And I'm Probably going to have a couple down low. Why is that rotating so much? Okay, there it goes. I don't like how these bushes were aligned to the surface when I did them, so let's do this. Scenery, let's get the bushes again. And let's see where I can get that bush to. There we go. And just fill in the space. Again, I just don't want these. I don't want the people in the park to see the Fantasyland when they're going around to it. So that's the thinking on it anyway. And these guys are walking around here because that's the bathroom. Let's not follow them in the bathroom. I am not Dr. Disrespect. Okay, so we go this way. We probably want to put some more bushes. That's the wrong color. I hate having to do this one bush, but it's kind of the only one that is the kind of the foresty color. It's not even the right color for these trees. I mean, I would prefer to have a slightly different green, but take what we can get. Let's do this. And I'm trying to do this from ground level, just because what you see up above is kind of misleading. When your end objective is to try and hide it from the park goers. A lot of times you start filling in gaps that don't really matter because they're not 50 feet tall. Okay, so they can come walking through this area. It's a lot of bushes. I'm going to end up putting some other types of foliage in there to mix it up. Maybe not that one. Nope. Let me see what kind of... I want to put a little color in it, chat. I'm just not sure which one. Nope, that's more for water. Yeah, I'm thinking these are probably going to be the best option just to give it a little bit of color. So let's go up here. And then we're just going to try and break it up a little bit, because otherwise it's just going to be nothing but huge batch of bushes. And since we're going to be heading into kind of a Fantasyland area, I want to try and add some color. So as we get closer, maybe what I'll do start getting more floral as we get closer. I really hate this bush. It looks so fabricated. Change back to my other view mode. My first person mode doesn't work with what I was trying to do. I mean, these kind of work. They look dead though. That color yellow is terrible. I want to make bright. Can we go super bright colors? God, everything looks muted. All right, let's go daytime. Let's get a little bit of, make it a little easier to see. No, losing yellow because the grass is kind of a yellow green. So we're gonna have to go with something a little more bold. Maybe we can do. What do you think of that? I think that works. And again, I'm just trying to make it to where it's a little bit more colorful as you get a little closer to the fantasy world. And I'm definitely not planning this. Oh. Snap that back to the ground. That's better. Have some sitting back in the back so it looks a little more natural, like it's a little overgrown. These are low light flowers, chat. They don't need to be direct sunlight. So that's the thinking is, so basically what's happening is when we come from the country, let me do this. I'm going to get rid of this because that's still too close to, a little too close to the country. So as we're coming through here, now we're starting to see flowers. Now we're starting to see a little bit more color, and we'll blow it up when we get in here. I mean, we've got this natural path going here. I wonder if there's a better path that we can use. See, these paths here are nice, but they really don't work in a lot of senses. This one will probably work for a fantasy path, and I may stick with this. You know what? I'm going to stick with this just because I want to do the tile path in a different area of the park. So I'm just going to go ahead and upgrade this path that I did already with this. Oops. And then we'll have kind of the castle area. We'll build the castle on this mountain. Obviously, we'll make the mountain look a little less tumorous. And we'll build a castle there. So as far as rides, let's think what rides we can do. Obviously, everybody thinks of the Grand Carousel for fantasy. I don't know if I want to do that, though. That's a Disney thing. This isn't Disney. I mean, it's nice because it's got horses, and horses generally go with fantasy. But I don't know if there's a better alternative. Like, the Venetian Carousel is really cool. That would kind of go with more the center area of my park, where I want to do the kind of that Venetian style house, you know, for the center area. So that's where I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll go save the carousel for that, if that makes sense. Like maybe this will be in the yard of the house or something. So I want to take a look real quick, first and foremost, and just see what rides I'd like to have available for this area of the park, because that's going to tell me where I want to have my pathing. It's going to tell me how much space that I'm going to need. So I don't want to do these Ascendance Towers. They're really cool, but they don't fit a theme. They fit, unless you're doing Carnival, they really don't work for me. Bumper cars, no. Blackout space shuttle, so I'm going to hold on that. It's the Collider. This is Coriolis. Again, a lot of these rides come from the Vintage Pack. Okay, so that's the Genie, the Magic Carpet Genie, which technically could be storybook fantasy, depending on what region you're looking at. So we'll hold on to that. That's kind of interesting. So we know the carousel is a potential. This is the Helion Ring. Nah. Horror Heights. What is that? Is that like a... Oh, are you serious? Is this... Yes, it is. You know what this is, chat? This is the mechanics. This is the engineering and the design for Tower of Terror. This ride operates the way Tower of Terror does. From the look of it. Let me just do a quick test on it and see if I'm crazy. But basically, people come in here, and then you build around it. This is totally Tower of Terror. Why am I not going up? This is totally the Tower of Terror ride. That's kind of cool. I didn't know that they had this in here. So you could basically build a wall here. You just have the door open on trigger. And then you can have it drop. Or lift or whatever you need to do. So this is essentially the mechanical inner workings for a Tower of Terror ride. That is cool. I didn't know that was there. That's awesome. Boy, this game surprises me. Every single time I load it up and play it, it's got something that I didn't notice the last time. Sky Temple. The hell is that? I like the Asian theme to it. I have no idea what this ride is. This looks like it scares the living... What the... Okay, so the dude's here. All right, I got to see how this operates because this ride looks kind of cool. Oh, I'm sure you did, Hogo. And how you doing, by the way? Welcome to the stream. So what is this? How does this ride work? Okay, so people sit and some stand. Brave souls. Okay, so basically what this does is this lifts up a temple into the sky. Is that what I'm seeing? And rotates it? Well, that's kind of cool. My guess is like an observatory though, because it's having people actually standing. Wait a minute, hold on here, chat. I think the dummies are actually dancing and moving and getting excited. They're sentient. Oh my God, they're sentient. Run. The test dummies are coming after us. Okay, so this ride is actually really freaking cool. I didn't know this one was in here. It would be amazing if you could customize the aesthetic of it. Like if you could decorate it and change it. Obviously we can change the colors, but it's always going to have like this really super heavy Asian theme. Which is cool if you're doing like a World's Fair type thing. Or like an Epcot. Been better, summer head cold. Oh, sorry to hear that. That's unfortunate. Hope you feel better. So that's a cool ride. Not for Fantasyland though. Seem to be a little bit limited on the stationary rides for Fantasyland. That is airplanes. That is like rocket ship. That is definitely a little bit too glaring for fantasy. That's Pirate Land. Again with the... I'm starting to think the reason Disney has a carousel in the middle of Fantasyland is because there's really not a lot of ride options for Fantasyland. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool because this, if you think about it, this is kind of Wizard of Ozzy. Not like Ozzy Osbourne, but that would be a cool show. I would love to see that. Give me a musical, Wizard of Ozzy. It'd be Ozzy Osbourne songs for the whole musical. You wouldn't understand anything he's saying is, you know, but it'd be a good show. Okay, so I'm gonna save that one because that one I think we can. This one I think we can use. What else can we use here, chat? Teacups. All right, we got to do the teacups. You know we got to do the teacups. And change the colors to gold and turn it into a lamp. This is very Wizard of Oz. Have to do the teacups. Just look, who are we talking to here? Yeah, no, you gotta have the teacups in a fantasy kind of environment. All right, so Swift Eagles, no. Already did that in the country western. This looks like it's gonna make people vomit. That is a definite no-go. These are that's a staple, but it's kind of carny. That's the Sky Ace. Around the World. Rocktopus. There's got to be one more. You think there's one more stationary ride? I think we only need two. chat. I think we only need two. Two for Fantasyland as far as these small stationary rides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these over just temporarily. And then I'm going to figure out what track rides I want. So we've got transport rides, powered rides, water rides, or interactive rides. I don't think we want to do a water ride in Fantasyland. This one, the merry-go-round and teacups. I agree. I mean, that's a very Disney thing because teacups and merry-go-round are very much Fantasyland in Walt Disney World. This, obviously, they don't have, but they have Dumbo, so it kind of is the same thing. Again, the only reason I was hesitant to do that is because I really like this Victorian merry-go-round, the Victorian carousel that they have. Where is it? Hold on. Okay, where was my Victorian? Oh, Venetian carousel. I guess we could do the Venetian carousel. I thought it was Victorian, but it's Venetian. We could do that here, especially because it's kind of got the balloon theme going, and it's small, so it has a smaller footprint. So what I want to do is I think I want to make this the centerpiece for the rides, similar to what in Fantasyland and the Magic Kingdom has the carousel as the centerpiece, because it's me. I want this to be the centerpiece of Fantasyland. So I think I will do the carousel here, except I'm going to do the Venetian one. So that way it's a little bit smaller. So those are the three sit-down rides. The fantasy area. Let's go stereotype and let's make it more for the kids. And let's take a look at the track rides and see what options. So we don't want to do a water ride. I think I'll save the interactive rides for something where shooting makes sense. This quick draw ride I was looking at, I was thinking this one might be good for the Wild West if I learn how to make the shooting rides, which I have to practice with. So if I go over here and decide that I want to, remove this and put in another ride or freshen things up, I may do the interactive shooter for that. So that pretty much leaves the normal powered rides, in which case there's a ghost train, which basically is the model for the Haunted Mansion type thing. They've got go-karts, which wouldn't really fit in a fantasy environment unless you're talking about Wreck-It Ralph. Motion robotic arm. This is kind of this one's a tricky one to do, if I recall, because it's kind of like what the Harry Potter ride does. In the sense that the arm itself, you can actually make the arm rotate and change and everything else while moving around. That might be a little complicated for me until I learn, but we can play around with that. I want to probably start with a simpler track ride, and in which case I think that these normal tracked motion platforms or the powered track rides are going to be the best. So the Luna Autos, no. Obviously not the Machina Classica. Magic Cats might be good. Because it's kind of got a Cheshire Cat thing to it. That might work for fantasy. So let's set this over here. No, I'm not going to build anything on it. Yeah, that works for fantasy. It's scary. That is a frightening looking cat. All right, so these are the rides so far. I'll make an indoor ride for that. What I might do is this area here, this mountain where I'm putting the castle, I might extend it out here and put the dark ride inside the ground. It'll mean I have to be a little bit careful so I don't step on where this coaster track is, but it'll give us a challenge, and you guys get to watch me screw up on stream, so that's what people watch for, right? It sees into the very soul. Is there a choo-choo train ride? There is a choo-choo train, and this is something that I was thinking about. In all honesty, I was thinking because of the Wild West. On rides, track rides, sorry. Transportation rides. They have two different. They have the Connie Express, and then they have the Iron Horse. So I was thinking because of the Wild West that we could do something like this. And have it go around the park. And this is very Disney, as far as how the cars go. But it's a transport ride. which is what's used to get from point A to point B up, you know, and around the park. It's not actually kind of a ride. It's just to save you walking, similar to the monorail. So I have to figure out how I want that to go. And seeing an old Iron Horse train, the reason I'm thinking it, because it's a transport ride, it's going to be seen throughout the entirety of the park. It's going to be very regionally appropriate going through the Wild West. But what's it going to look like when it goes into the future world or the fantasy world? Or, you know, fantasy, I guess it would work because Harry Potter exists and made that okay. Pre-Harry Potter, a train in a fantasy land was kind of weird. So I'm trying to think of how I want to do that. One of the things I was thinking about, they have the light rail, which is kind of like the people mover. Well, it is the people mover at Disney. That I could do either above ground or I could actually put it below ground and just have it go through a tunnel. I could also do the same thing with a monorail, is have it below ground, where you kind of go into this thing and it'll transport you. They also have the gondolas. The gondolas are nice because they could be up and out of the way. And then there's the normal chairlift. You know, so if we wanted to do a... Whoa, hello. Sorry. Every once in a while the game does that to me. If we wanted to do just a normal chairlift, we could do that. Why can't I zoom in anymore? What the hell did it do to my camera? There we go. Hello, game. So we could do a regular chairlift if we wanted to, and in which case I could make this somewhat neutral. So I was thinking of doing the chairlift possibly, just because, yeah, you're going over the Wild West in a chairlift, but it's not going to be as noticeable as a big ass monorail train. And going through the future world is not necessarily going to be noticeable if you're, you know, riding above the sky as it would be if you're on a huge train, you know. That's kind of the thinking I had going into it. I'm undecided, to be totally fair, and I'm open to being convinced one way or the other. But that's where I'm sitting on it right now. Okay, so we have these 4 rides, and then I don't think I want to do a coaster in Fantasyland. I don't know. Is there a really mild kind of kiddie coaster? There's the Manic Mouse. Test Pilot, no. Mouse Hunt. Let me see if I could find one that kind of fits with... Because we did the Mine Car. I want to have kind of a fantasy theme. This one's floorless, called Werewolf. Because I could have it go around the castle and such. Possibly if I make the castle look okay. Hey Friday, how are you? Malice Unchained. It says Unchained, but it's got chains on it, chat. I think they're lying to me. It's kind of a cool looking train, though. I gotta remember that one. That's a cool looking train. Then this is a Free Swing Pioneer. Well, this is kind of cool. That's kind of cool. It's got a stork. I don't know if is that fantasy? I guess it could be. I guess it could be. We could have a flying bird taking you around. Damn it. Nope, coasters. Which one was that? Pioneer, right? Stop it. I just want to let... Oh, I mean, we've also got the Junior Dragon. The Junior Dragon might be better. To be totally frank, I think I'm going to do the Junior Dragon. Because I think for the kind of the Fantasyland area we're going for. Holy crap, Cloud Sykes with 25 bits. I want to ride the most dangerous 1% of surviving ride in the park. Right now, that is our... right now, that's our Mine Car coaster over there. It was too intense for a while. I had to dumb it down so people would ride it. Thank you so much, Cloud, for the 25 bits. I do appreciate that. Storks bringing babies? Yes, that could be a ride. Why do you only seem to catch my Planet Coaster streams? Because that's all I've been streaming lately. To be totally frank, that's it. I've been on a kick. Little heads up to chat though, and if you're like an OG viewer of my stream, you'll already kind of know that I was probably going to plan on doing this regardless. But No Man's Sky gets a huge update this week, and I am a huge fan of that game. And because of that, I will be playing it and trying it out. And I will probably start from scratch because I don't even remember where I left off. I know I had pretty much everything built and I had every kind of vehicle and everything else. I'm glad to have you, Cloud. But I do want to try it again. They have a big multiplayer update with a hub and everything else coming out. I mean, they already have multiplayer in the game, but it's going to be pretty significant. And they have an underwater update that came out after the last time I played. So I'm basically 2 very large patches behind. So hopefully you guys are going to be willing to watch that. So let me think, coming from above, where do I want these rides to go? So I'm thinking my roller coaster. Probably has to go this direction anyway. So for right now, I'm just going to set that there. I raised it up intentionally. I raised it up intentionally because I don't want it to eat into the terrain like it did down here. So this is just temporary placement for right now. Go ahead and flatten this to surface. Yes, it is, Cloud. And I cannot wait. Okay, so now we have the cat ride. First and foremost, I want this to be the center, my centerpiece. So the center of Fantasyland is going to be here. Everyone's going to walk around that. I'm going to have a little carousel over here just to kind of welcome people into it. And then, actually what I might do, let's do this. I'm going to put this carousel over here. If I can figure out. That should be out of the way of this. And I can always move it later. And I'm going to put the balloons over here. And I don't know if I'll do this ride with the cat or not. I'm still kind of on the fence. If I want to do the indoor ride, or if I want to do the coaster. I think I'll probably do the coaster. But just for the sake of thinking about it, I'll put that here. Just for right now. Oh no, Hogo. All my best. Believe me, I understand what you're going through. Alright, so let's set this to 8 meters. I think the length of 2 is probably... Let's do length of 1. It's going to take more clicks for me to get this right. But I want to try and get the pathing. And this is where it gets a little bit interesting, chat. I gotta back this up. I want to try and figure out how I want to do my path in a way, because again, what I did over here is I went based off of what someone said on YouTube, and it made perfect and complete sense to me. Is I made a path. I didn't make a single path. I made a big plaza that was broken up. And to me, it feels much more theme parky. So I want to do the same. So at least for right now, see if I can get this main path through here. Yes, they can only walk on the paths. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make it to where the paths are a little more, they make a little more sense. Let me go ahead and move this all the way over here because it's not going to be used right away. And I want them to be bigger than just a normal path. And what you could do is you can hold down the Z key in this, and it'll give you the ability to kind of play with the angles. So if you find a place you want it to be, and then you can work with the angles, you can actually come up with some decent kind of directional paths. It just takes some experimentation to get it right. And I'm not a master at it yet. I still have a lot of work to do. Why is this? It's 10 meters wide. It's only 1 meter. It's not aligned to grid, which is good. This should bend sharper, but I'll deal with it. See, I want this to try and follow this around. Okay, we got that over there. And then, so this here, one of the tricks that they showed is, you see how that's a really sharp angle there? If you want to, you could hypothetically, and let me see if I could figure this out. And I've actually got to shrink the width here. So if you kind of do a little thing like this, and then you delete it, it makes it round. So if you want to get rid of the sharp corners, you can do that. So I know I want to keep this somewhere in this area. I need to have space for a queue. So that's why I kind of left this area here open, is so that way I would have room for a queue for the ride. I know normally the queue would be in the front, but I want people, when they're walking into the fantasy area, to see the ride, not the people in line for the ride. So I kind of want the exit to be here, and then I'll have the entrance be this whole area over there. Kind of would prefer, I really would prefer this to be straight across. I don't know if I can do that though. I think if I play with this like enough, maybe I can get it to smooth out. So I could hypothetically, again, this is where it gets a little bit fun and you have to be a little bit creative. I'm just trying to roughly lay out how I want this pathing to go. You can't put the rides on top of the paths. I mean, I can change the outline of the ride to match the path. And then if I go off the path, I can take this and move it, but it's obstructed. So I can put it right up next to it, but I can't overlap a path with a ride. So what I'm trying to do is find the best way. What the hell music is this? That's creepy. I'm trying to find the best way that I can have kind of the pathing around it. And it's going to look bad. It's going to look bad at first because I haven't put any greenery or anything around it. One of the other things too is if I do the paths, I can go into kind of the natural paths. And I can do this and I can get rid of, if I want to, I can kind of get rid of the, you know, so I can come up with something that might be a little bit creative if I want to, or colorful. Maybe I'll stick with this. Stone slab. Stone slab might be better, at least for the ride platforms. And I can come in here too. Let's do, just put a little curb around it and a railing around it to make it look a little safer. And I'll end up decorating that with trees and such. So the paths basically are where people are going to walk. So this is the starting point. I want to try and make it, and I'm trying to think where I want this thing to go. Kind of like the idea of it being a little bit closer. Again, going more with the, I want people to see the ride, not the line. And I'm probably going to have to move this coaster. Just to make sure they have room to put this. So they're all going to be welcomed. You know, when they come through this, the first thing they'll see is kind of what everybody kind of pictures as Fantasyland. Let's go ahead and go down to ground level. You know, and I'll put foliage around it and the like. And then I'm going to try and put a castle. What I might do is I might do a forced perspective castle, like a really small one up here, or see if I can build one. I just got to think how I want to build it. Okay, and then we can do this coaster. I guess I can do that after. Let me get the queue and everything set up for this first. Okay, so this, let's do... Place the entrance. I'm going to place the entrance on the back. Back side there. I'm going to place the exit. Place the exit right there. And then connect the entrance path. I want to find stone slab. Why does that look elevated? Oh, it's because I have the curb. Let's swing around here. And I think this will be the first one if I can actually, and I think my roller coaster is interfering with me right now. Bear with me, let me move this again. Just for the time being, because I have to have a set, this is like a no build zone behind the coaster because it knows that it's going to need more room. So let's go back to the queue. What the hell is it obstructed by? That should not be obstructed at this point. What? Okay. Game, what are you doing to me? That's not supposed to flicker like that. All right, let me get rid of that coaster completely. Let me just move it completely out of the way. Because it's not going to let me do what I want to do until I do. So let's... Okay, let's go back to my paths. Why is that so large? Because that's not my queue. That's my queue. What is obstructing this? I can go up. Oh, you know what it might be? I know what it might be. It's flattened terrain. Turn flattened terrain off. There we go. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this path. I'm going to go around this way with it. Why are you doing that to me? Stop it, game. And right there. And then the reason I want to do this is there should be... Go ahead and make that path look the same. There should be a way for me to enable priority pass. Place the priority pass entrance. So what basically what this is the fast pass. That's too close to the ride. Move this entrance over here. Why would this setup be invalid? That is 100% not invalid. Oh, it's because that's the entrance, not the exit. Got it. Sorry. My bad. Entrance over here. Wait a minute, that's the exit. That's the priority pass exit is there. This is the entrance. Which is exactly as it should be. And Paz. Shelve out for the fast pass or walk 10 minutes. Yeah, that's the plan. Is that it's not leveled? It might not be, but it shouldn't matter because I have the path supports and such turned off, and I built the other path around it. I think it might be because it's too close to the ride, so I'm going to move it. Just going to move it down here just to see. These get finicky. The fast pass queues do get finicky. That's very strange. Because that really should not be invalid. Can I get rid of this? Get rid of these. Because this is the entrance. We have the exit. The entrance comes in here. Yeah, I was thinking that, Cloud. That's why I tried moving it out here. Let's try priority pass entrance. Let's try it again. I'm going to try all the way over here. Priority pass exit. Okay. Queue. Oh, you know what it was? I think I was using a path, not a queue. That's probably what it was. I really wish that the game was smart enough to tell the difference. So let's do this again. I'm going to move it back. Okay, get rid of that. Move this there. Path. Queue. 2 meter wide. There it is. That's why. Okay, so now we have a fast pass queue. That's what the difference is. Hey, Wells, how are you? Welcome to the stream. So now we have, because look, it's a carousel and it's a small carousel, and anybody that's been to the Magic Kingdom knows the carousel is popular. The only thing that's more popular that shouldn't be is the freaking Peter Pan. I have no idea why people line up for that, right? Okay, so we have this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to do a quick test run on it just to get some stuff moving on there. And we're going to start with some scenery. Chat. And I think there is a fantasy theme, a fairy tale theme, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, there is. Which is going to give us some really kind of cool things that we can play around with. Oh, and I've got some... Why would they put spooky paintings inside a fairy tale? People in a Steam Workshop do not know how to classify things, chat. This is a witch house. I mean, I guess a witch house could hypothetically be fantasy. We got like a thatched barn. Okay, so I could hypothetically... I could technically make people walk through the thatched barn. I might do that. Just to give it some visual interest. It's a straight rope. Put a straw cart out here. It's good to see you back though, Cloud. I agree with Severia. Okay, so that... See, this is a possessed table. This is something for a haunted mansion. It literally is a table that just sits there and floats around and breaks into pieces. That has no business in fantasy. I don't want a pavilion tent. I don't want palace thrones. Here, I did get this for you, Strix. I got this for you, Strix. Don't say I never got you anything. I got you that. And I got you that. Because it can't be fantasy now that Harry Potter exists unless you got freaking owls everywhere. So I'm gonna put these caged owls. That's the way they're supposed to be. I'm gonna put these caged owls. Hang them up in the barn. And I'm going to have to change that music on that ride, chat, because that is not good music. Okay, let's bring this down just a touch. There we go, because, you know, no barn is complete without owls. One for breakfast, one for lunch. I knew I liked you for a reason. So we've got archery targets. We've got an archer shooting. And actually, I think I'm going to do that. Well, this is a barn. And you know what? This kind of reminds me of Endgame. And I know you guys have seen Endgame. So, you know, in Endgame, you got Hawkeye. Hawkeye doing target practice. And really, game, you're going to put this random hay bale. All right, so I guess I'm going to have him facing this way. There we go. And we're going to have a big-ass dragon in there. Because you... Okay, maybe not the dragon. But a big dragon eating. So what we'll have is we'll have over here, dragon's gonna eat the archer, because that's how it's supposed to work, right? Okay, maybe that's not the... Let's see what else we can do. Caravan wheel. I want to decorate this. The problem is I don't think I don't know that I have as many props for fantasy as I thought I did. So it's going to take a little bit, I think, for me to get this to be what I want it to be. But we will try our best, chat. Let me change this to world axis. Have that propped up over there. So I like the archer and the archery targets. Don't need a big clock face. Don't need a clockwork tower, coaster doors. I'm going to do oil lamps here just like I did in the other one. I can put a big old pile of dragon poo. Because everyone likes a big old pile of dragon poo. A steaming pile of dragon poo, mind you. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Fairy tale fences. That's what I was looking for. All right, so since I have fairy tale fences, what I'm going to try and do here is let's go back to the paths. Let's go to my queue. I'm going to turn my railings on ground queue off. I'm going to pick my proper tile. I'm going to get rid of my curb on ground path. Going to get rid of my curb on ground path. Let's see if we can make this look a little bit more like we want it to long term. Okay, so now that I have that scenery, let's get in here. Are there prop packs in the Frontier store? Yes, there's a ton of DLC that comes with that you can get for the game Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, as well as other things. They're really cool. They do give you a lot of options. They were missing some of the fundamentals, and that's why I turned to the Steam Workshop. Just kind of want to do this smaller fence. Just to kind of make it look a little bit like... That is not where I wanted that, chat. Optical illusions. That's better. Go back to these. Yeah, pretty much. It is very Frontier. But thankfully they did give the Steam Workshop, which they wouldn't have done years ago. And because of that, you can pick up a lot of the things that are missing. Granted, it's about the same quality as most things on the Steam Workshop. Completely hit or miss, but there are options. And it's a well-loved game. So there's a lot of support behind it. And again, normally I would like to have the railings kind of touching, but I think I like having them separate and being somewhat broken distances between each other. I think it makes it look more natural, more like somebody kind of cobbled them together. So it's not very precise, and I know that, and I'm actually doing that intentionally, so don't rage at me, chat. I am literally doing that on purpose to try and make it feel a little more organic. I know how chat gets sometimes when things aren't straight. It's like, what the hell's wrong with you? That's crooked. It's like, yes, I know. So do it on purpose. Leave me be. And I'm going to leave that open because I'm going to put something there. All right, so let me see what decorations I can put on here. So this is all the fairy tale stuff. It's off by half inches. Yeah, Cloud, you've seen some of my streams. You know that happens. And I'm sure you've seen streams in other cases. Kind of like the stew pot and stuff, but I don't know if it fits in. These round planters might actually be kind of nice. Not that it really fits in with kind of the farm thing, but it does fit in with the theme. So I might just do a little bit of decorating around just to make it kind of keep that fantasy vibe going, even if it is a little bit on the rustic side for this particular. I really wish I had like hay bales and stuff, because it gives me the hay cart. The straw cart is here, but it doesn't give me, I don't see hay bales. Can I just do a search for hay? Let me see, straw lump. There we go. It does have it. And again, just a little bit of rotation and cross, mixing them together takes away some of the repetition on it. Because I don't want it to look totally repeated. That is clipping very badly. I don't mind it hanging out a little bit out of the sides, but I don't want it coming out of the bottom of the cart. So this is a full-on straw bale, which is cool. This is what I wanted for over here. Again, I'm kind of going with a kind of a farm theme. And then chocolate water straw? No. Okay, so we're getting in there. Let me see. There was the chicken that I downloaded. And this is a workshop item. Just not a, you know, it's not a farm type setting, or unless you got a chicken. Definitely need to have chicken. Gotta kick the chicken. You're trying to get me to put stuff crooked? Yes, I know you. Okay, I'm gonna put him kind of peering over the edge. I want to find something to put up there, and maybe I'll do those pots. You know, these kind of older rustic looking pots I could kind of stick up here. Maybe I can get away with them kind of looking not out of place. Nope. Let me see if I can go back to my fantasy scenery theme, fairy tale. Let me see if I can find something else I can put up there. It's kind of decorative. I mean, I've got these cottage lamps, which are really cool. I don't think that they really... That's more like a... I mean, I guess I could put it here. It would still work, because it's a fantasy, so it's not bound by reality. Although even when it's not reality, you probably want to have it to where it's attached to the freaking building. There we go. Again, not necessarily something you'd see on a barn, but I'm just trying to find something that I can do to kind of fill this in. And I mean, you know, I could put a witch casting spells. And hide the witch in the hedges. Or not. So wishing tree, I can put that somewhere else. It's kind of cool looking. So window boxes, I think I might be able to do this. Oh, these are small. Painted large, painted small, plain large. Do not align to surface. See, if I rotate that, I might be able to make... No. Oh, there's a water trowel. I can use that. And again, this is towards the queue. I don't want to put a stove in there. That doesn't make any damn sense. Maybe tools like pitchforks. Oh, I don't want to unsubscribe from the tree stump. I just want the tree stump. Thank you very much. Make it look like it was cut down in order to facilitate this ride. I want spooky vines. I don't think there's a... I mean, it'd be cool if I could just do a search for tool. I mean, I could do a horseshoe. That's like a big ass horseshoe. That's not like a normal horseshoe. Because that's the toolkit's going to come up with those. There we go. There's a scarecrow pitchfork. So let's do this. Let's pull this thing up. So this is roughly eye level. All right, so I'm gonna put bushes in, and I think what I could do is like I'm gonna fill this in with some foliage, and let's see what that does, because I think that might be what I'm missing. So I just need some bushes. I did the creosote bush in the other. Since we're going fantasy, I want it to look. I want to try and find a bush that's gonna be rural, like since it's a farmland. So, like, I don't want to just throw a whole bunch of flowers. I mean, I have flowers in pots. It's a beach bush. So just a regular green bush. Yeah, let me just do the regular bushes for right now and see. Throw a couple in there. Is there a smaller one? Like a really... You know, kind of like he hasn't kept up his garage. And I bet it's a little overgrown. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking anyway. Maybe this has just got a little bit of... Let me get this one out of the... Damn it. Out of the planter. So we just got a little bit of grass growing up around it. Yeah, I think this is what I was missing, is I just needed to get some greenery in here. So if I keep fleshing this out, I think it'll work out well. Let me play around with it a little bit. See what we can come up with. Pitchfork idea was a good one, Cloud. I appreciate it. See if I can get eye level. This one's a little high. So I want them to still see the ride there. Okay, so as they come through here, go ahead and shrink this down because I don't need it eating up all the space. And I don't want to put the green on this side. I want this to be kind of cleared out, but I do want to have some little weeds or some kind of visual interest on the ground over there. So it doesn't look completely plain. You know, like something's been cleared out, but it's dead. You know what I mean? So it's not like I don't want to put this whole bush like I did in the western area. But what I do want to do is just have a little bit of it sticking up. Just to kind of make it look like he doesn't have a way to really weed around the building that well. I think that makes it look better. I'll throw a little bit over here too. Just give it a little more visual interest. I think that works. And the same thing over here. Need to have something. That's the big bush. I want to see if I can find the little. Where's the little creosote bush? Yeah, that's what I was going for, Cloud, is you can't really I don't want it to necessarily, because look, anybody could just plop this thing right there. You know, and it does look cool, but for the setting I'm going for, I kind of want a little bit of, and it's super subtle, you know. And I'm probably going to end up doing a little bit of terrain molding here, to be totally fair. I think one of the reasons that I'm struggling with getting this to look the way that I want it to, intensity is still too high, is that it's 100% flat. And keep in mind too, it still has the leaf texture on it that I put in just to demarc the area. You know, so as I go through and I just kind of do a little bit of lifting of the terrain. Let's get a little bit more interest in it, because the last thing you need, the one thing, if you want to make your park look completely unrealistic, flatten it and build on it like that and just leave it that way. I'm just doing minor little lifting here, and it's also changing the color to green, which is, if it's going to be fantasy, I want it to be more green. I just used the leaves as a way to kind of act as a placeholder for where I wanted to put things in the park. Okay, it doesn't have to be big, just little subtle changes in the altitude. Just a little bit of interest in the ground, I think makes it look better. Okay, and then I got to continue on with my fences, because I haven't finished that yet. Where's my little one? Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that one fence because it's completely clipped into the ground. Okay, let's go up here. Again, I don't want it to be 100% perfect. I want it to look a little rustic, so I'm doing that intentionally. So I've got my hay bales here. Where's that light coming from? Is that coming from the coaster? Okay, no, it's just the reflection of the hay bales. Okay, which means I need to start getting some lanterns in here. I'm going to change the look of this coaster too to be a little bit more fantasy, like a little brighter colors and the like. Hypothetically, I could put this on this side too. Oop. Just make sure that that lines up. And I'll get rid of this lamp turned back here that's stuck in the wall. If the game will let me choose what I want to choose. Damn it. Come on, give me that lamp. Early game. See, that picks everything behind it. That's the thing. This tool is really cool from the selection perspective, but it picks everything up. But it's not picking up that lamp. Why can't it? Am I crazy, chat? There is a lantern back here, right? That is a lantern. There it goes. Now let me pick it. Nope, it let me pick the barn. Why won't it let me pick this one lantern? Let's try from here. See how I picked up the coaster? Okay, so that should now only be 2 things selected. I only see 1 selected, but it says there's 2 up here on the right. It says there's a second piece of scenery. I do not see another piece of scenery selected, so we're going to try and delete this. I think we got it. Selection could be fun. Okay, so that'll give us a little bit of light at least. It's not all the light we need. I need to have a lamppost. So let's see if we can find a good lamppost here. Something that's very fantasy, like that, like big old normal street light. Spooky lamppost? Nope. I mean, I did the iron square lamppost for the west, but that's, I mean, it's not. Put a fluorescent lamp in. I mean, the flower lamps are kind of cool if you're going to do like a fairy town. That's like an adventure lamppost. I'm going to actually remember this because if I want to, I can make a campfire chat. See what I did? Put it underground. Oh, hot foot. Hot foot. You know, or your hay's on fire. Let me think what lamp. That's a Haunted Mansion style. Mushroom lamp. Again, that's fantasy, but not the kind I'm looking for. I might have to stick with oil lamps just to get the look that I want. Put that there. That way it'll highlight the chicken and the, you know, and the archery. And then I'll get another one. I put it on the end of this. Just so that way when people are walking through here, I want them to see this is levitating. God damn it. Stop levitating. This is levitating too. There we go. There we go. So when we've got people coming around the queue, at least they have kind of the key things highlighted. So I think that works. I'm going to change the music on this because it's driving me crazy. Operations. Priority pass queue equal priority. No, high priority. People are paying for priority passes. They're getting high priority, damn it. Where's my music? Spin, spin fast, or spin. I can change animations. Right, close it. Where's my music setting? Does it really not give me an option to do music? Huh? Oh, there it is. Double Deck of Delight. Classic music. Let's try and find something fantasy sounding. How about that? The ones that looked high off the ground? Yeah, it kind of threw me off when I didn't notice it, the angle that I was at before, and then when I got close, I was like, okay. Okay, so under Fairy Tale, they have In the Dark Wood, Goblins and Gobstoppers, Freaky Playground, Ghoulish Grove, Frankencoaster's Monster, Mad Professor, Crazy Scientist, and the Genie. What the hell kind of fairy tale land are they living in? This is like scary stuff, not fantasy stuff. What the? Let me see if I can find something that's going to work. Not adventure. This is going to bother me. See, they have a whole spooky section. There's Magical Town. What does that sound like? That is not what I picked. Where is my damn fairy tale? Magical Town. Okay. It does, doesn't it, Cloud? Sounds like a horror ride thing. It doesn't sound like what we're looking for. Fantasy Castle. Actually, Traveling Oregon is a fairy tale one. Okay, that is so subtle. You can't even hear it. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. We don't need to hear the music from that anyway. Let me do this though. I do want to change the color of this to be something a little more fantasy, a little more fantastical. So this is the main color. I think I want to do white, at least for this main color, because it makes it look, you know, a little prettier. Either that or gold. Maybe we do a gold. A little off-white, make it look a little fancier. Royal purple. And white. Yeah, I think that kind of works. I'm going to go ahead and open it. Let people on it while I'm working on it. Yay, we're open. Celebrate. So we should at least start seeing people come through this part of the park. And I want to fill in this area back here. Come here and duplicate this. Move this right here. Some of the music on the pretzel selection is not very good today. See, I'm on a pretty steep incline here because of this mountain. So I'm trying to find a balance point. So if I put this here, now go to this, rotate it, lift it up a little. There we go. Where is my scenery? I want to find more of my bushes. There we go. Is this music too loud or is it good, chat? Okay, good. This is better. The music's better than some of the funky stuff that was going on before, so I was like, let's turn it up a little. Okay, now we're getting out of the slope. It should make it a little easier for me to get this fence going. It's still levitating, chat. And there we go. And let's just give this a little bit of a rotation. think I need some greenery here. Need some greenery there. That is way too big. Still too big. Need a little tiny bush. All right, getting there. I kind of like him being in like an open field though. You know what I mean? Like he's practicing his archery. He's got this open area. I think I need a barrel. I think I need a barrel because you always need barrels. No matter what you do, you need barrels. And actually, I could put this barrel planter in here. And then a regular barrel. When in doubt, fall back to the barrel, chat. If you need filler, it's timeless. Well, Stautry, thank you so much for the host. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. So we'll fill this in a little bit, and I need a little bit more greenery, I think. Get rid of the word barrel. And I think this is where my creosote bush can come in. Can just make it look like there's some weeds around these barrels. You know, like it's a little bit, yeah, I mean, he didn't have, there's no modern, you know, landscaping tools, you know, so I would guess that, you know, things would die around things like that pretty regularly back then. So we'll presume that anyway. How about that? We're just making this stuff up as we go along anyway. That is not level, so let me take this one. Where's the smaller piece? I don't want to take the small child. I want to take the small fence piece. Thank you. And it's there. And I think I could just be cool if I could make a gate. But I think I'm going to be good just leaving this open. Because if I close this off, it's going to be like, how do you get back there? I wouldn't, I mean, he obviously could have walked. I guess he could have walked from the front. Yeah, let's do that. This way it's cordoned off and it seems more like a theme park. Like they don't want people to go and play with the animatronics. And they are children, so they would do that. So let's go ahead and get some more fence stuff in. What I might do, so let's see if I can adjust this slightly. Like that, and duplicate this. Got a little bit of miscellaneous greenery in here. Get a little random rotation so it doesn't look like I just copied and pasted everything. It's getting there, chat. What do you think? It's getting there. Not quite where I don't think I'm 100% happy with it, but I'm getting there. Gotta stay hydrated. Okay, so we have, obviously this area here needs more trees. So what I'm gonna do, I think over there, oops, I know my fingers were on the right keys. I might extend this forest at least a little while longer. Because I want this mountain to seem kind of ominous, and I also want to hide the Wild West over there. If that makes sense. Let's see what this looks like from the... Whoa, hello. I'm in the bushes. I'm in the bushes. Get me out. All right, so from the people perspective, gonna have to put some filler bushes down here. Let me get that in real quick. That is not the right bush. Okay, so when they come in here, at this point, they should not see that. So I need to hide that. I want to make sure that they can't see the other park as they're walking through. That's kind of the plan anyway, is as they come through, they're coming from the Wild West area that we have. Walking with all the crowds, a nice hell. Why does this game do that? You know, walking through all the crowds in this nice big open. This is why I like doing the paths like the plazas. It doesn't necessarily make perfect sense, and I'm gonna have to fix that because they're walking through a cactus. Again, this is where some of the hiccups and such happen, so we'll fix that. But so we have the country western area, and then I'll put some signage up at some point. But this is kind of the fantasy. So as you're coming through here, you start seeing more and more flowers, and I'm gonna have to line this whole thing up with color. This whole area right here. This has to be all flowers. So let's do that real quick. So I want them to come around. Again, I want them to get into the fantasy area and start to feel an immediate difference. So I'll fill in this back area here with more like large bushes of flowers. And I can always change the colors of these later if I choose to. I'm just kind of laying them out roughly. Holy crap. Basharan with a party of 21. Thank you so much for that raid. Welcome, welcome everybody. Happy to see you here. And hope your stream went well, Bash. Thank you so much for that. And doing a little bit of Planet Coaster. I have not planned. I do not put the plan in Planet Coaster. Hey, Basharan, I appreciate that raid very much. I hope your stream went well. So this is a planless planet. I am literally winging it, just kind of trying to figure out how I want to do the park and just talking through my mindset on how I do these things. No super rhyme or reason to it. I'll give you guys the raiders, all the new raiders to the. This is what we have so far. I'll start at the front of the park. So I want to try and do it from the visitor's perspective. So I'm trying to do everything kind of from the viewpoint down low. Close this. So you come into Metaverse, and I wanted to close everything off and make it feel kind of, you know, naturey, but still have kind of a sci-fi vibe when you first come into the gate. Purple being my theme. Kind of wanted to go on this. Sorry, your kids need to go to the toilet. Believe me, I understand that. That's why we have them in this game, right there. And then I did a little entryway, little overhang. I made sure to light it. So that way people can see where they're going when they're coming in. And then this is a big open area because I haven't decided on that yet. I'm probably going to go with a Victorian house centerpiece. So we started off on the west. So you walk this way, and as you go this way, it starts becoming a little more dry, a little more country western. And you know, the crowds there. We took a couple of the rides, tried to make them a little thematic. You know, try to make it feel like you're entering into the Wild West, a little bit more desert. You know, built ourselves a little bit of a saloon, and our gift shop only sells cowboy hats. You know, so as you go through here, you know, you got the store. These stores are the prefab stores. I'm not taking credit for those. So those aren't mine. But the roller coaster up here is mine. So we made a roller coaster with a basic station, nothing super fancy. Oops. Yeah, a little gunfight happening out in the front. And you can go on a ride if you like. And so we made this coaster. When we first made this coaster, we decided that we would want to make it, you know, based off of the design that we wanted. And we tried it. And everything worked out pretty well. You know, the numbers look great. And then I opened it up and we had 3 people in line. And only 3 people in line. So we ended up going back to the drawing board. Well, not back to the drawing board. We went and refined. We tuned and adjusted some things to where now this ride is exceptionally popular. We smoothed out some of the curves. We made some adjustments. You know, I threw some additional scenery around, so when you're doing this, you come up and you fall into the mountain. I still have to get rid of that tree chat. Don't let me forget. Little splash effect. There's a little bat and stuff in there. Couple triggered effects. It's very basic stuff. Still pretty early on, and of course I decorated the station. You know, so you can go in here and you can see that I actually put in a person tipping his hat for people leaving, and another guy over here just kind of sitting with his dynamite in a very, very unsafe way. Can't sell lassos since a lot of people would be tying, well, the kids. The kids. Anybody who's been to a theme park has seen kids with the lassos on them. So that was the Wild West, the real basic run of the Wild West. And tonight is where we just started on the fantasy. So we decided we'd make this path, and as you're going through the path, very beginning stages, it would become more and more green, and I'll fix this to be more green and also more colorful. Deselect that ride so you don't see it. So as you're coming around, you'll see the fantasy, kind of the more fantasy theme. We started with just a basic little carousel, and sorry for the camera motions. For some reason, my mouse wheel is freaking out, chat. So we started with just a little basic carousel, but these are the other rides we're going to end up putting in. And we laid out a rough path structure for the rides, and then these other 2 are the 2 coasters and internal ride that I'm planning on doing. But I had to start somewhere, so I started on the coaster, or started on the carousel, and we decided to go, or you know, with a little bit of a little farm, a little ode to the Avengers, with Hawkeye over here doing his arrow training. But the teacup ride, me being Meta Hatter, I wanted the teacup ride to be my centerpiece for my fantasy area, as opposed to the carousel. So carousel gets its due. Little baby carousel. Kids seem to enjoy it. I absolutely love the graphics in this game. The fact that they animate every single individual character and their mood is actually represented on their face. It's so good. I'm like, why did I hear sci-fi and I forgot I had Pretzel Plan? So that's where I am right now, long and short of it. And we're going to continue on. I'm just trying to put some of the final touches on this particular ride. I opened it up briefly just to kind of get a feel for what people think of it. And it looks like, you know, the prestige is going to be low. Prestige is going to be low because it is a slow, tiny ride. But the 100% queue scenery rating means I have enough items around the queue. So I'm going to maximize on that. And the queue time is only 6 minutes for a ride this small. And this was the first ride that we decided to put the Fast Pass in. And I want to try and make that a little bit cleaner looking. I don't think I like that queue. Let's see if we can change that queue up, chat. I just don't like that ugly blue. Is there something that'll still kind of work thematically? I guess these would. And curve slopes, path supports. I don't know what the railing looks like on this. Actually, that railing's not that bad. Let's just change this up. I think that looks a little bit better. Looks a little better than the blue. It's still not 100% thematically on, but it's a fantasy setting, so I think that's much closer. And let me put this plant here, because I think we need a little extra green in there. And these are mostly just to prevent people from walking back. It's kind of a natural barricade, or a natural barrier. because I want to have the fences, but I also don't want my queues to look like normal queues. I'm hesitant to do this here. I actually may change that to just use these railings too. But because I have the metal rail going around this, I'm thinking it doesn't necessarily have to. Let me try. Let me go to paths. Let me see if I can change this path up to the natural. See what happens. And I'll take the railing off. I think that might work better. Nope, don't want to do that. Damn it. Sorry, right-clicked. So I just kicked them all off the ride briefly. They'll be back on in a second. It's back on. Yeah, so I could get rid of the path around it, and I think that might make it work a little bit more in this fantasy setting. So let me see what I can do with this. On my paths, on my queues. Because this has to be a queue, it doesn't give me the natural option, and that's why I have this cobblestone kind of look going on here. You just do the same thing. I'll continue it on. Yeah, I think that works better. I think that works better. It's one way to clear the rides, you know it. Not the intentional way, but we will, and they'll be back. They always come back. So I'm going to stick with this fencing. Not the best, but since that's kind of the theme that I've been going for with this, I think that works better. Yeah, that works much better than the futuristic stuff, and I don't need the railing for this, which means I could probably, if I place this just right, because see, I'm technically clipping into the ride here, which is why it won't let me place it. But I think I can find, yeah, some spots around it that'll make it seem kind of natural. Like the fencing, it's more whimsical. Yeah, I agree. It was this was the baseline fencing that I was using for the rest of the queue, but because it was the kind of the fast pass queue, I wanted to make it look a little bit different. And then in hindsight, I really wish I could change these, but unfortunately those have to stay. You know, but as I was thinking about it, I just wasn't happy with it how it was. So I think this works much better. You know, and now that this, again, because this is not perfectly round, like before the queue had that perfect circle around it, I think it actually works better in the fantasy environment, in the sense that it looks almost like the nature is defining the edge. We got one plant right here. Needs to get moved or something, or rotated, because it is exactly the same as the two next to it, which makes it look like a complete dupe. That's a little better. Let's mix it up a little bit so it doesn't look like I copied and pasted. Lie to people. That's what I do. That's what theme parks are meant to do. Give you the illusion of something completely different. So we will duplicate this. And I'm going a little crazy with these particular bushes, but I'm going to put in a little bit of color. I can find the right spot for it. Because again, I'm fighting a little bit with overlapping with the invisible ride boundaries. So I want it to be visible. I just don't want it to look like it's curated plants, like, you know, gardened and manicured want it to look more like it's a kind of a natural growth. So I want it to blend in a little bit more with some of the existing foliage, if that makes sense. That's kind of what my thinking in my head. Whether or not it works out when I put it down, it's a different story, but we're going to try and see what it comes up with. Just mix a little bit of color into the green bushes. So it's not overkill, but it also doesn't look just like, it looks a little more fantasy. Move this over here. Line that up a little bit better. Okay, so we got a little bit of color. I could use a couple of them over here if I can. So click that. Find one. There it goes. Got one. There's no way to put in butterflies flying around. Yeah, that'd be cool. I know you can do particle effects in this, but I don't think there's a butterfly particle effect. You know, I can do smoke, I can do fire, I can do stuff like that. Again, I'm just trying to make it look like these plants are kind of organically growing in here. So I want them scattered in kind of randomly. I want it to be a theme. I mean, as a theme park, I kind of want it to be a, you know, feel like the theme of the fantasy world happening, but not actually be, you know, a curated, well-honed, dialed in, everything's in it, everything has its place kind of park. I want it to feel natural. I want it to feel like you've entered into this world. Aside from the, you know, people in the visors behind the machines working. Like this guy right here. What's his name anyway? Can I find his name out? There's got to be a way I can find his name out. He's on the Venetian Carousel. Let's see. Everyone in this game has a name, including the staff. I don't know if the attraction staff, though, has a name. I don't think the attraction staff has a name. Which is unfortunate. Because they're important, damn it. They matter. Staff members can't find a staff building with space. Increased capacity build... What? What do you mean my stores have been empty for a while? Alright. I opened it up just because people wanted to see my park. Alright, let's do this. He's unhappy. We'll train him. Give him more money. So the mechanic, the only mechanic I have for the entire park, mind you. They're all pretty low on energy. But he's getting happier now. Do I not have... Everyone is free roaming. Why the hell are they all free roaming? Alright, let's go over to our... Let's go over to our stores and such. Okay, so we do have someone at the Gulpy. We have someone at the Hats. Got someone at the Chief Beef. Looks like everything is well taken care of. That's interesting. Can name him Bob. We'll call him... Why is my mouse doing that? Damn it. It says many guests are thirsty. Can I... Where's my drink? My Gulpy. Sherry Carrier. Alright, Sherry Carrier. Let's do this. Let's mix this up a little bit. Where is Sherry Carrier? Give her more money. And give her more training. I have no idea what song that is. Okay, so she's now trained, so she should be cranking more drinks out. That should help. And again, I mean, those are the only restaurants we have in the whole park. So multiple rides have no entrance. Yes, I know. It's all these rides over here I haven't built out yet. Okay, so we have kind of, because this is a centerpiece and because there's not going to be a lot in the way of decorations around it, I'm going to go ahead and do this one next. So I'm going to put the entrance in the back. I'm going to place the exit right there, because that'll give me the ability to maybe put some plants there. Let me fix my terrain. Now that I've kind of got the area cordoned off the way that I want, let's go with some more fantasy grass. Let's just see what this looks like when we get closer. I mean, this is like the super green fantasy grass, so. I don't know if I like that. Yeah, let me just do a blend between the two. Because the regular grass, the really bright green grass, looks kind of like moss. It really doesn't even look like grass to me. Alright, so let's go ahead and put this in. Get rid of those leaves. Let's fix my intensity and just paint it all in quick. Because it's a fantasy land, it's supposed to be all green and lush. I think it is too, Revenge. This game is absolutely phenomenal in the amount of detail that you can do. I'm not very good at it yet. I'm still learning. But it is amazing in the level of detail that you can do in it. So the terrain is done on that. We have the entrance, we have the exit. I have to put the entrance queue in. So as a queue, I think we're going to stick with the stick with the same kind of stone slab that we had going on before. Let's make these a little bit longer. This one's going to have a line. If I remember correctly, this ride tends to back up. Okay, so that fixes that. And I don't like having cattle queues. I just don't like it. It doesn't feel natural to me. So you can do cattle queues in this if you want to. I would much rather try and make it look like it fits in. All right, so let's go in here. Let's do paths. And I think I'm going to stick with the whole fantasy theme of kind of being open. And then I'll put bushes and stuff around it. I may have a railing around this one just because of the fact that it's right here. And I'm going to have limited options in this little gap between the ride and the path. So let me see if I can put a curb or a railing. I'm going to do the railing around this one. I think that's probably going to be best. It's going to be really tight to put a lot of foliage around this. And this will take some of that demand away, some of that requirement away, if that makes sense. And it'll also make it a clearer view of the teacups, which is supposed to be kind of a centerpiece for the park anyway when you're coming in. So that's the thinking anyway. You know, and I can always change it up if I feel like it. So it's not a lifelong commitment. Let's customize it. What ride colors should we have? Since the whole metaverse theme has been purple, I think I'm going to stick with that because that's my colors and I like purple. So let's do a dark purple and then white. Yeah, I think just whites and purples. And then my operator has to wear the right colored uniform. There we go. We'll do a quick test run on it. And what music? Music. This is called Full English Breakfast. I'm going to stick with that music. The music's perfect. That music's perfect. I'm not changing it. Okay, so that's with that. We want to put in a priority queue. So the priority pass entrance. Needs to be on a somewhat straight area. Priority pass exit. Go there. Path. Queues. There we go. And I can take that railing off. There we go. Nailed it on the first try. Yeah, I would never use the default music that comes with a ride. Never. That's amateurish. Who would ever do such a thing? Okay. So let me just see. You know what I have to do, chat? I have to save the park because I haven't saved in the entire time I've been streaming. Okay, so now we have the entrance. We have the priority pass, which is going to be obviously shorter than the main pass, which is exactly what we want. Scenery. We want a... what goes with T? What do we have that would go with T? What other dragons did we have? That's the wrong kind of dragon, chat. It's a cool dragon. That tail is going to beat everyone in the queue. I don't think we want that. I mean, it's cool, but it's enormous, and it really doesn't fit. I mean, the sleeping dragon's really cool. Sleeping dragon's really cool, and he actually fits in this spot, like, perfectly. I'm just going to leave him there for right now. Just because the shape of that queue happened to work out just like that dragon looked. And I like that he's got smoke coming out of him. It's a cool animatronic. And it's purple. And I can color him. I can make him a darker purple. Or I can make him yellow. That's the beauty of this game, is you can make it your own. You can make him a white dragon. So let's see what, there we go, purple and black. I think that works better. What other... Okay, that's his legs, so we'll keep the same color purple for that. There we go, I like that. A little more menacing. I just want to scare the kids. Okay, so we have our normal railing. We can put our dragon poo right next to... Okay, no, not the dragon poo. What do we want to do? Because I know I want to build my castle up there, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that when I go to do the coaster, because I want this dragon to kind of... The way that I'm looking at it, just so that way you guys have an idea where kind of what I'm picturing, and it's probably not going to look anything like what I'm picturing when I'm done. But if you look at the size of this dragon, and I know it's kind of an Asian dragon, but the size of that dragon, I want it to fly around almost in the perspective or the size of the castle. So it's going to be a reduced size castle, but it's going to look like, if I can get it done right, that the dragon is like the right size for flying around a castle. So it'd be like a big dragon next to a big castle, but from far away. That's my thinking. So that way when you're down here, if you're looking up at this spot and you see the castle, based on that dragon size, flying around the castle. So it's the castle itself will only be probably about that big, if that makes sense. And if you go up here, you'll see that's not a whole heck of a lot of real estate. So what I could do, if I go into the buildings, let me see what stone. Oh, there is actual castle. Let me bring this down a little bit because it's really hard to work when that's interfering. So if I was to do the castle as a hypothetical, what would this look like? Nope, that's not the kind of castle roof I want. Where's the other one? Find a surface. Just see what this, again, I'm trying to just get an idea here, chat. It's nothing here is going to be set in stone. It's just me playing around. I'm going to be getting a feel for what options I have available for me here. Like a castle window extension. So those are walls. Castle wall extension, so come in here. And let's see if I can. Those weren't the pieces I wanted to use there. This is what I wanted to use there. And then the normal castle wall. So let's see what that looks like from down here. Okay, so yeah, if I do something like that, and then I can have that dragon ride. Swift Drifters 2 is broken down. No. Say it isn't so. Oh, and Gold Fever 3 broke down too. Alright, let's get the mechanic. You know what the problem is? I only have one mechanic. Here. Now I have... I want to let me place him. There we go. Now I have another mechanic and another mechanic. There we go. Now I can come back to my castle. So looking down here, I want to have, this is kind of what I'm looking for, is to have a castle kind of off in the distance. It's not going to be a real castle. It's just going to be kind of like a rough structure of one. And then this dragon ride, when it goes, will fly around it. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Let's go back to the building. Let's see. Those are castle doors. Where's my castle windows? Okay. Let's take a look here. That is not the curve I'm looking for. Okay, let's fill that in. Why is that aligning to surface? Is this the one that I really want? I don't think that's the... I think this is the one that I wanted. Yeah, that's what I wanted. I didn't want these. Get rid of those for right now. And let's see if I can find... Again, that's not the right... Actually, that's the piece that I wanted to get. So let's do this. Get rid of this. There we go. Now we're starting to look like a castle. Now we're starting to look like a castle. Where is my... Is it castle buttress? Some stone down there. Balcony support, I don't need that. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Where is... I think that'll actually be okay. Let me see if I can find something I can do. Again, this is not going to be a real castle. It's just going to look... I'm just making it look like one from a distance. That's the plan anyway. Move this down. And then I need to find something. Okay, so that kind of extends that, which is good. And then I need... Careful not to go deep in the coast in a wild, wild west running underneath. Yes, it is. But I think I'm... Hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to... I don't know why my keyboard's not switching me to the camera mode that I want. So let's go back to the Wild Wild West. Let's just... Oh, sorry. Chat, you didn't remind me to get rid of this tree. How many trees did I have here? All right, one I'll be fine with. I'll go back outside and take a look at it later. Okay. So, see? So far, so good. There's the castle all the way up at the top. So the area I picked, I had artificially made kind of thicker anyway. You know, and I lost some of my trees up on the top of the mountain because of that clipping issue, but I'll figure that out. But the thinking now is when you're down here and you're walking around now, you see that there's a castle up there. And I want to try and do a little bit of forced perspective. And I don't know that I can do it. because these pieces are prefab sizes. So I'm trying to think how I can potentially get away with it. Especially considering as most of these are kind of on, you're forced to build on a grid. And because of that, it makes it really challenging sometimes to place things. So bear with me here. Let me think. Let me think. There might be a way I can do this. So we've got that tower there, which means that if I put in a slim tower here, problem is that the texture on it is going to give it away because the texture doesn't change. So I'm going to have to probably fake it a little bit. Well, fake it a lot, but let's see what I can do here. Maybe I can make this work. And where is the... That's the one I want. See what this looks like down below. No, that other one's too tall. It's gotta go. See if I can bring that up a little bit. There's got to be a way for me to be able to do this. Let me find the castle edges that look like... Okay, so they're parapets I need to find. I need to find straight parapets because I gotta fix this. Okay, so these can go away. These can go in its place. Okay, so I think that works a little bit better. I don't like this here. I mean, I like having this, like this slim tower parapet here. Except it's stucco, it's not the right kind of material. Oh, there we go, there's a castle tower one. You know, and kind of the problem with it is, again, the textures don't quite match. But I think I'm starting to get a little bit of a... kind of a little bit of a forced perspective here. Let me see if I can... Let me see if I can do this. get a big window up in the front. And again, this is all just me practicing and coming up with something theoretical here, chat, so this probably won't work, but I'm still going to try. Terrain, let's get the push. Let's get the building back. Where is that window? Find a surface. It's kind of a gothic castle window. I don't know that I want gothic. I want fantasy. There we go. It's too big. Way too big. Still too big. There we go. This is more what I'm looking for, is carved narrow. Let's put those little windows on there. And then if I do this, let me see if I can do. Not that I'm sticking with this, chat. I just kind of want to see what happens when I do this. So bear with me here. Just want to see what it looks like from a distance. I think it's actually not terrible so far. Still working on it. But the smaller towers, because they have the smaller windows, I think make it look like they're sitting way farther back than they are. It's getting there. And again, it's a theme park. This is a facade. This is not meant to be 100% realistic. 100% realistic castle. No one is coming up here. This is just for show. And the beauty of this game, the thing that I love more than anything on this game, is that it is just pure, unadulterated experimentation. You can just try stuff. I know that's a different height. I do. Does that work better? Yeah, I think that works better. Let's go down below. I think that works. Got a little mine car going on up here that I have to fix, but I'm going to ask if people are going up there. Nope. It is legitimately a background set piece to kind of tie the fantasy area together to where my thinking is that down in this area, this is the everyday people. This isn't royalty. You know, royalty lives up there. And then my hope was to have the dragon coaster get close, fly it like this level, and I'll fix these rocks. Fly it like this level so that way you can kind of see what's going on. Let me go ahead and get rid of these now that I don't need them. They're not going to fly above the castle necessarily, but can fly close and then fly back around. And then maybe have this one go through some type of archway or entryway down here that would basically be kind of leading into the castle. Again, I'm making this stuff up as I go along. I have no plan going into this park. This is literally me making it up on the fly. It's just how I do. So let me go ahead and fix these rocks. What was the cat? Oh, you didn't... Yeah, the cat's the creepy cat. It's a creepy magic cat. It can see your soul. So that is an indoor ride. So if you're going to be doing something like a Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean, you know, an indoor track ride, this is the starting point for that. So I know I'm going to do the Dragon Coaster, flying around the base of the castle. I know I'm going to do that. I do not know if I'm going to do the indoor ride or not. That's still kind of on the fence. Go ahead and duplicate this. That piece. Duplicate this. Just to kind of complete the look. And then let's get these. Come on, let me pick the last rock. Thank you very much. Move. Set that down there. And I still managed to keep my little vent intact for my cowboy coaster. And it's out of sight, so that way people don't see it from Fantasy, you know? Going on this other coaster, you'll probably see it when I have it, but it depends. You like the cat too? The cat's amazing. It is so horrifying that it's awesome. So I'm going to continue, you know, I'll continue decorating this out, but I think that's how my castle is going to work for right now. As I get more familiar, and again, I have not been back to this game a lot. I've only done 4 or 5 streams with this park since I've come back to the game, so I'm still getting used to the tool set again. I'm still rusty, but my hope is that I can figure out what, as I go along, I'm going to figure out what parts are available, what scenery is available for me to use. And when that happens, well, what I got to do is I got to come up here and I've got to make sure that I'm going to have to put bushes or something here because I don't want the Western people seeing the, I don't want the Western people seeing the fantasy land. As I get better and as I get more practice, I'll know more of what the options are. And as I know more about the options, I wanted to do forced perspective on these trees, but it's just not going to work, unfortunately. Because they were clipping down below in the actual ride. What was I saying, Chad? As I learn it, the actual park pieces that I do will get better. Because one of the challenges I'm having right now is I don't know necessarily what's available to me to use. So I'm kind of, there's a lot of kind of hunting and pecking going on, you know. And they can, I don't think they'll be, yeah, they'll be able to see there still. There's a lot of hunting and pecking and stuff that's going on with me doing my testing and learning that I will be doing less and less of as I learn what scenery pieces are available. Hey, AB, how are you? How'd the stream go? You still playing Star Wars, right? God, I love the Old Republic. And if you guys haven't checked out Angerbeard already, he's an amazing streamer, really cool guy. Also addicted to Final Fantasy, just like me. But the thinking on this is that I want to try and make it look from the perspective. So if you see, what I might end up doing is I might end up putting a roof on this. I'd love nothing more than to and I might have to check the Steam Workshop. I want to find see if they've got air conditioning units and pipes and vents and those types of things to see if I can put those on tops of the buildings. So it makes it feel more like it's a theme. Just chilling and farming an EDF. I got to get EDF. It's on my to-do list. But because of, like, Final Fantasy, I finally hit 75 in. And now I'm into Shadowbringers, which is really fun. I'm kind of hooked on that. Obviously, I've got this little project going on here. And then with No Man's Sky coming out this week, I don't know what to do with my life. I'm gonna have to quit all my work. It's the nature of the beast. The beauty of gaming. Okay, so we have that. Let me think what I want to do. I want to fill this in. I mean, I kind of have the dragon thing going on. I don't know if I'm digging it. What kind of fantasy trees do they have? I mean, I was going with this because it was like a transition between the Wild Wild West that I had going on and then the fantasy area. But I don't necessarily want that to be my fantasy trees. That makes sense. There's got to be some really kind of fantastical looking, really beautiful. Like this wishing tree I know is there, but that's more like a centerpiece tree. I just want to have something that looks more fantasy. Yeah, definitely not the Brazil nut tree or the beech tree or bamboo. Let me think. I mean, the ash trees aren't bad. See, it's a brighter green. That's a brighter green at least. Yeah, I think I might go with this for this setting. And that'll help me fill out these other areas too. I think that's where my problem is I didn't have a tree picked out. So now I'll be able to fill in some of these other areas and make it look a little bit more natural. Hey, King Tara, welcome to the stream. So I'm just going to throw in just a couple trees just to kind of lay the foundation on where I kind of need to fill in. Actually, I could tree this thing up, but the problem is I don't want to put in too many trees around this. This is like the center point, like the centerpiece for the entire park, or at least for the fantasy area of the park. You know, so when you're coming into the park, you want to see it. You want to see it when you come in. So I might do trees on either side and maybe on the back side, but I definitely don't want to block this view when you're coming down. You know, because I want to be able to see the rides that you're going to go on, if that makes sense. This one is not in its final placement, so don't pay attention to that yet. So let me see if I can find, now that I found that tree in its place, that means I can grab it and duplicate it anytime I want. Let me see what other hedges and stuff might work. See bushes. I think the green leafy bush, the one that I've been using, is definitely going to be a staple because I've been using it already. And then this one might be good for covering in huge areas of space. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just placing these because what happens once I have it placed, I can duplicate it then. It's just kind of giving me a palette to work with. You know what I could do? You know what I could do, chat? I think I know what I'm going to do. Let me move this. I think I'm going to put water in. Because we really don't have any water in our park yet. So I'm going to put just a little lake. And we're going to do calm. I think standing water is the one I want. Nope, that's not the one I want. I want calm water. That's the one I want. And then I've got to smooth out that terrain because that is ridiculously terrible. Shrink the brush. That's the one downside when you're doing it with terrain tools and you're right up next to a ride or next to a path. It does like this weird Minecraft-esque kind of choppiness to it. And it's really hard to smooth it back out. So just bear with me here. Just want this to look a little bit more natural when I'm done with it. And I do have the intensity up to 100% right now just to try and get these out. That's how difficult it is to get these creases out once they're made. What the hell is this music? That was annoying. I'm gonna have to start rejecting songs on Pretzel if they suck. That one was really bad. Where's the intensity on this? So just do a pull. See if I can pull it out a little bit. Sometimes you just gotta smooth out the edges, get stuff in. Now that that's there, I could possibly smooth it better. Okay, and painting. Painting is where the fun part comes. So if I wanted to, I can make this just all grass. Make it look all grass and it looks just like a nice calm pond. And I might do that because this is Fantasyland, you know? Let's see where my... Really wish I could go like right in between that. This is one level too low. I would love nothing more than to go to this point, but it won't let me because it's... I could add in some rocks. Yes, I do plan on putting rocks in to kind of fill in the gaps in the areas. So I can go rocks. And I have a bunch of cool rocks now. So there's like tropical rocks and stuff. Got snow boulders, got ice rocks, desert rocks, and then I also downloaded a couple rocks from Steam Workshop that are really cool. And I was showing this one off earlier. It's shiny. It's like a shiny rock, but if I want to, I can color it. So if I want to do some type of sci-fi area or anything like that and have an alien planet or something, it gives me some options for that, which is really cool. I'm trying to see. This is a grasslands rock. This is more like Timon and Pumbaa. I think what I want to stick with is probably the tropical rock, at least for this setting. Never played Planet Coaster, waiting for Planet Zoo to come out. I am waiting for Planet Zoo as well. I'm excited for it. I'm a little upset that they just didn't make it an expansion to this, but this game is so old at this point that I completely understand. This is still one of my favorite games, though. Frontier did a really good job with it. That is way too big. I need a little rock. You know, so I could throw in... just mix in the rocks there, and it kind of makes it look like it's a little bit more organic. And you can obviously do that to the entire... See if I can get this... Just flip them around. Just do a little bit of magic with perspective and shifting, and you can see the rock through the bottom, so it kind of gives you raise this up. You make the rocks go under the ground. Yeah, that's the fact that they let you place things anywhere, and I think there are options in the settings that actually let you go even crazier. I haven't really explored that yet because I haven't really needed to. But as far as clipping with scenery and getting things right up on rides and that type of thing, I think you can turn that off. Which I'll probably end up having to do when I start doing my indoor ride. I'm thinking the Fantasy might not be the first indoor ride. I have to see what assets are available. Because if it doesn't give me enough decorations for the interior, it's kind of what the, what's the point? No one wants to see an empty building. So I kind of have to see what assets I have available to see if kind of my vision on what I want to do can even happen. And also if I want to, I can take this rock and I can rotate it in different angles. So you can see that, you can make a little bit of a rock pond, and it makes it a lot more natural than just having the water sitting there. To your point. And then I can take where's the bush? Shop just a memento is missing a vendor. No, that's fine. I don't care. And I can take these bushes if I want to, and obviously I can clip those through. As well, and get a little bit of greenery around it. And see if I can. I don't know if I'll get this to be the angle that I want it to be, but let's try. And again, clip through makes it look like it's growing out of the side and over the rocks. So there's some cool things that you can do just to make it look more interesting. And again, this is just here as a template piece for me. So I think that that was probably a good idea. And what's really cool about this is if I want to, I can do, let's see if I can find it. Fountain splash large. Fountain splash strip. I think it's water spout maybe. So I don't want that effect. Waterfall pouring. That's just a bubble. That's lava steam. That's rain. So if I want to have a rain effect, I can do that. Water jet display. So if I want to shoot water like way up in the air, I can do that. Okay, so this is the intermittent water flume. That might be the one I go with. Small. I think the intermittent small is the one I'm going to want. It's a medium. Let's try the medium. Okay, now let me see if I can actually select that. Okay. Let's see if I can get this to place roughly where I want it. See if I can get the spacing to be a little bit more even. And then if I want to, I think I'd do a sequencer and I can do that. Let me just do this real quick. Set this here. Make a trigger sequence. Add a display group. One, two, three. Confirm. Okay, so pattern 1, 0.2. Why is this song back? Why would that song come back? Okay, so done this. I edit the trigger sequence and play the sequence. Okay, so it sits there and sprays with the intermittent, goes left to right, which is exactly what I wanted. So that's left to right. And then if I duplicate this, let me do this one. I don't know if this will actually copy on the first one as well. Yes, it did. Good. Okay. So now I could do 0.4, 0.2. Oops. And then this will be at the 0.8 mark. So let's see what this does. Actually, this should be at the 2-second mark. Okay, this needs to be farther out. How long does this actually play is the question. I have to go here. I'll play for 3 seconds. That's where my problem is. So this is actually playing for 3 seconds. I want it to play for 1. Play for 1. Play for 3. Okay, and then go back to right to left. Let's make sure this is play for 1. Make sure that's still set right. This is 1. This is 1. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Okay, so now that that's there, oops, we have 2-second mark. So that is 1 second, and then there I'll start this at 3. Let's see what this does. There it goes. I don't know why that starts up again. We've got left, middle, right, and right. This starts at the 3-second mark. I guess I could start at the 4-second mark. I just want to see if I can make it to where it'll go back and forth from each other. That's weird how it goes back to this one again. You know what it is? That right jet is not set for 1 second anymore. That's why. Okay, so that goes, and then I can do this, not activate, continuous activation. And let's see what this looks like. Now it's going right to left over and over again. That's interesting. So I'm kind of working this out in my head as I'm going along here, Chet. This is the first time I'm really kind of playing around with the trigger, this display sequencer. So I have the continuous activation, but it looks like it's only playing the right to left. It's not playing the left to right over again. That's interesting. So I guess if I go here, duplicate this, can I move? Okay, let me get rid of this. Okay, so we've got left jet 0, middle jet 2, right jet 0.4, and then this will be 2.0. Oops, sorry. So 0.8. Let's change this up. Let's go 0.4. 0.8, 1.2, and 1.6. double check and make sure that this is set for 1 second each. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Okay, that should work. So by the time, if this is playing for 1 second, that should be 1.8 second mark. And then at 0.4 after that. So I need 2.2. And then 2.6. Yeah. But this is the starting point. I'll play around with this some more. Obviously, I've got something kind of out of whack. It's kind of weird how it's not cycling left to right, right to left, and middle. Might be that I need to... in any regard, that's good for now. At least I've got a fountain in there, where I didn't have one before. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the rocks. And again, this is supposed to be an actual theme park. So I kind of want to make it to where it's accessible by the staff. And then I'll need another rock. See if I can find a better rocks. Nature, rocks. And this was the... I think it was it the deciduous? No, we were using the tropical rocks. So we're going to do a smaller tropical rock here. Again, mostly we want to look from people's eyeball perspective and their height. There we go. So from their height, they're not going to see that control panel. I mean, if they're over here, I could fix that a little bit. Let me get this bush. Let me get that bush. Thank you. There we go. So the staff will be able to get to it. They can control it. And when I feel like going back and messing with it and making it right, I can do that. And then what I want to do, let's go lights. Let's get the lights here. And this will be the last thing that I'm going to be able to do for the night because I do have to work in the morning. But I'm just going to drop this right here for right now. Let's get the nighttime going. And I think I'm going to make this kind of a pretty blue one. Let's just make it a really rich blue. Because this is the fantasy area of our park anyway. And I kind of just want to be able to stay and kind of have this theme going and just have it be pretty. Which means that over in this area, let's go ahead and bring the light in. And this light is a little bit more of a magical purple tone. More of a magical purple tone for this particular section of the ride. Again, this is like one of the main things that you see coming into the fantasy park is this carousel. So I kind of want it to light up with more fantastical colors than just a white. And again, this is that ride over there. It doesn't matter for right now. Okay, so that gives us a little bit of lighting there. Got some lighting lit up here. Oh, this light needs to go under the water. There we go. And I'll put more rocks up there and I'll smooth that out. If I want to do something with this dragon here, let me do... Let me see if I can figure something out with this guy real quick. He's sleeping. We know he's sleeping. We like him sleeping. We don't want a dragon coming up and biting us in the rear end when we're trying to get on a ride. But we can... Let's put this in here a little bit. And maybe if I can get this positioned properly, maybe we do a little bit of red. Maybe I got to do an actual custom color red on this. Let me think. And I don't know if I'm digging the red on the purple dinosaur or not. I mean, I could just go with the purple light. Yeah, purple light on a purple dinosaur, that works better. The blue works perfectly. I thought it would. When I was thinking about it, I'm like, it'd be nice to just have a little bit of blue in there. And those fountains, I'm not sure I'm real sold on. It looks like the repeater's kind of working. It's not working exactly the way that I'd like, but I'll figure that out. You know, so I have these colorable lights that I can put all over the park if I want to. Let me go back here. And this is another one. It's like the colorable event light. This one's cool if you want to put a spotlight on things. It's tough to do. It's tough to light up rides sometimes because the... Go back to set that to world axis. Because you're limited. You can't build where the ride is. So sometimes I'll put them here, and then I can take this. Is that the colorable one? Yeah, that's the colorable one. Okay. Now I can take this if I want to. And I can cast that purple light that I want to cast on it. And then what I'll do is I'll come over here, this other entryway. Rotate it around on this side. And then what we'll do is we'll probably do a darker tinge or a slightly different color. Like maybe we'll do a white light on this side. So you kind of get white and purple. You get kind of a blend. Maybe yellow. So you can get kind of a yellow. Since we have the yellow going on and the gold on that, I think that works. Do a smaller one on the trees. That's true as well. So, but the trick is, lighting the rides themselves. Again, I think there's an option in the game to where you can turn clipping off. But I don't know, part of me doesn't want to do that because I kind of like the challenge of having to place it to where you hide it, but you have to worry about safety of perimeter of a ride and, other imaginary BS that I make up in my head as to why I don't want to do it. But you can see just a little bit of lighting makes all the difference in the world as far as what that teapot looks like. Definitely adds some color, adds a little bit of flair to the ride during the evening hours. So that's what I'm going to end up continuing to do next time I do this stream. I'm going to try and get back on tomorrow night. Let me go ahead and save this before I forget, because I don't save often enough, chat. So when I get back to this, I want to try and flesh out Fantasyland a little bit more. One thing I want to do before I finish off. Where's my purple light? Give me this. This I wanted to see. And I don't know if this is the light I want to use or if it's the other one. Just want to see kind of what this lighting can do for the castle. There we go. So just as a starting point, and we got more to do. We have a lot more to do. I've got a lot of greenery to put up on this mountain. I've got the roller coaster to do, which I'll do first. I'm probably going to do next stream. I'll probably do this roller coaster and have it swing around. It's not going to be into the mountain because obviously we have a minecart track going through the mountain right now. And it'll be a pretty short coaster because it's for kids. But it'll be up here. It'll go through this. I'll probably have another dragon coming down and trying to eat you when you're on the coaster and such. And then I'll flesh out obviously the decorations in this area and such. But tonight we did a pretty good thing. We had 0 done in Fantasyland when we started the stream tonight. And, you know, now we actually have kind of a starting point of a pretty interesting, at least in my mind, part of the park. It's not quite where our western area is yet. We still got a ways to go to match this. I'm still pretty proud of how that came out, considering I had no planning to it. But if you guys like the stream and if you're looking forward to things, if you wouldn't mind hitting the follow button, I would really appreciate that. If you prefer to lurk, I do not notify people when they follow me, and I do not shout them out because I am a lurker in many channels, and I understand and I sympathize. But on that note, let me go ahead and back out of this. We'll flip back to this. I do have Steam codes to give away. And I forgot to do that earlier on because, you know, my mod forgot to remind me. I do have a Steam gift code to give away. So let's see real quick. I'm going to do this and then I'll have to whisper you the code, or actually, yeah, I can either whisper it or you can hit me up on my Discord and I'll post the link there. But let me see if I can just do. Bear with me 1 second here. Okay, and if you do exclamation point Steam in chat should get you into the contest, hopefully. And I'll get you guys the Steam code, Steam wallet code for $20. I'd been not able to stream as often as I'd like recently, and this is kind of my thank you to the chat to try and get in on that. And it looks like I am getting entries, so things are working. So yes, if you want to enter, just hit exclamation point Steam. You will get an entry into this, and I'll pick a winner probably in the next 60 to 90 seconds or so. But on that note, if you haven't, please check out my Discord. Please follow me on Twitter. Desperate Streamer, insert Desperate Streamer statements here, blah, 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 blah. No, that's honestly, that's the best place to find out when I'm streaming, where I'm streaming, how I'm streaming, and it's not on Mixer. So feel free to follow me. And I usually do this type of chill stream late at night, 1 to 4, roughly Eastern time. And I'm going to go ahead and pick the winner and count of 10. So exclamation point Steam if you haven't entered yet to get a $20 Steam code. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and King Terra, congratulations on the win. If you could speak up in chat, I will message you the Steam code. So bear with me 1 second. I just want to take note of who you are so that way I can hit you up with it. But congratulations on that. I do have more codes to give away. Tonight just was a weird night for me. I got a late start and everything else, so apologies for that. I do have more codes to give away in future streams, but that should cover it for tonight. And I will message you that code if you have any problems with it. Please let me know. But again, if you like what you see, if you're interested in maybe the next contest, or if you want to see the next stream, hit the follow button for me. Other than that, have a wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you all very much, and take care.